1989, the Baya Report brought to the forefront the plight of poor Zoroastrians living in abject poverty in the villages of Gujarat. The World Zoroastrian Organisation Trust was founded in 1991 in order to essentially rehabilitate these rural Zoroastrians, with the work snowballing, necessitating new welfare dimensions to be added to welfare activities. WZO Trust Funds was established in 1995. Support from the global Zoroastrian community has enabled the WZO Trusts to focus on multiple welfare activities throughout India, with a primary focus of work in Mumbai, Pune, Navsari, Surat, Bharuch, Vadodara, Ahmedabad, Sikandrabad, and many more. Under its auspices, WZO Trusts rehabilitate poor Zoroastrian farmers, provide interest-free loans to Zoroastrians wishing to start their own businesses, replace huts in which poor Zoroastrians reside with cottages, provide low-cost housing in Navsari, provide medical and educational support to morbeds, establish centers for Zoroastrian senior citizens, and sanatoriums. In spite of the various activities that WZO Trusts have undertaken over the last 20 years, there still exists unimaginable poverty in many places. The dismal conditions in which many Zoroastrian families still reside in the rural areas is absolutely unimaginable. Before the World Zoroastrian Organisation Trust Funds, or WZOTF, even officially began its work here in India, the now trustees began working with Viraf Patel. They started by loaning him funds for a rickshaw, after which they supported his move to run a canteen or cafeteria. 20 years later, Viraf has been able to successfully pull his family out of poverty, educate his sons in convent schools, and assist them in starting businesses of their own.
मैं पुष्कल मेहनत करी ने मारा बन्ने छोकराओने कोईपन ट्रस्टमांथी कोईपन जातनी मदद लीधा वगर मैं मारा छोकराओने ग्रेज्युएट कर्या ग्रेज्युएट करीने मारा छोकराओए एम कह्युं के डैडी अमारे केथे बहार नथी जवुं अमे तमारी साथे ज रहीने तमारी जेम मेहनत करीने आगळ आवुं छे एटले मारा बन्ने छोकराओ पोतपोतानो बिजनेस करे ने ए लोको बी मारी साथे ज रही ने सुखी छे.
As do all of us, Viraf too thinks about his future and works hard to keep it secure.
मारा दीकराओने लीधे हूँ बहु हेपी छूँ अत्यारे पण काम तो करवुं ज पड़े छे काम तो हजू पण करवुं पड़े छे ने विचार लांबो करवो पड़े छे. बधा नौकरी करता होय त्यारे नौकरी छोड़ीने जाए तो ए लोकोने प्रोविडન્ટ फंड मळे ग्रेज्युएटी मळे मने हमणां एवो विचार आवे छे के मारी पास तो आखी जिंदगी में तो काम ज कर्युं छे ने मारा दीकराओ मने कहे के विराट डैडी तमे જરાક बी टेन्शन ना लो पण मैं मारू पोतानुं विचारूं छुं के हूँ शुं करी सकस एटले मारे अत्यारे आ पार्लेनुं काम लीधुं छे तेने लीधे मैं पार्लेनुं काम लीधुं छे के मारुं भविष्य शुं.
WZO Trust Funds and its donors have also helped both Viraf's sons grow their businesses into successful places of prominence in Navsari.
We are the #1 outlet in Navsari. We are selling around about 300 to 350 mobiles per month.
Keeping gratitude for all they have received at the cornerstone of their values.
We are giving poor Parsi people the Parle biscuits and like that with some good biscuits like Monaco, Crackjack. We are giving to small poor Parsi people also in that orphanage and all that.
The Patel family continues WZO Trust Fund's generosity by now contributing to the community.
And we are selling Parsi people mobile without profit, without loss.
One rickshaw, one family, multiple lives blessed. By 2010, the WZO Trust had converted 136 huts into cottages. During 2011, an additional 20 huts were converted into brick homes. The total now stands at 156 new homes sponsored by WZO Trust and its donors. Mud huts, abject poverty, and 17 Zoroastrian families without any land to call their own, other than the small plots on which they lived. The men of the village worked at different fire temples as helpers, sweeping and cleaning. The women worked as laborers, collecting cow dung and branches from nearby jungles to use as fuel on their primitive stoves. Children never went to school as education facilities were greatly lacking. And life in all for these Zoroastrian families was essentially defined by lack and desperate need when the volunteers of WZO Trust found these community members about 5 years ago. This was in the village of Bardipada. Today, the children, however, have been admitted to different boarding institutions in Mumbai, Navsari, and Surat in the hopes that the education they receive will allow for a leg up in their lives. In an effort to move the families forward, WZO Trust funds replaced all 17 huts held together by walls made of cow dung and mud with brick and mortar homes.
16 to 17 Zoroastrian families reside. All of them work in the various Agyaris and Atasvarams at Bombay and elsewhere. They used to live in huts which are made from cow dung. A representative hut in which even the walls move with when you just push them with the hands.
These new homes provide for more dignified living conditions for these poor Zoroastrian families. Today, Bardipada is a village made up of 17 homes, a more educated youth, and a town filled with more hope for the future. 5 years, 17 families, one empowered new generation. Between 1995 and 2011, 12 crores 11 lakhs 30,543 Indian rupees, or approximately 2.4 million US dollars, was given as interest-free loan to 787 Zoroastrians located in 103 different urban, semi-urban and rural centers towards their self-employment endeavors in diverse disciplines such as plying of auto rickshaws, private taxis and trucks, or establishing different types of businesses such as sub-broking, bone marrow registries, studios, desktop printing services, motor garages, tire dealerships, fitness centers, egg dealerships, mobile phone agencies and showrooms. Funds under the self-employment scheme are typically dispersed as loans, and the recycled funds are used to assist more beneficiaries. As a young man with a family, Zubin Tamboli began wondering about the future of his children. He had always been accustomed to hard work. However, life circumstances were not always allowing for the kind of life he wanted to provide his children.
બચ્ચાઓ તો હમણાં નાના છે પણ હું એ લોકોને ટ્યુશન આપી શકું છું જે કોસ્ટલી છે.
As he started exploring various avenues of work, he came upon an opportunity to work in the poultry industry.
મને લોન WZO એ સૌથી પહેલી એ આપી, ત્યાર પછી મેં પૂરી કરી તો મેં બીજી લોન માંગી. બીજી લોન બી મેં તરત જ પૂરી કરી દીધી 2-2.5 વર્ષમાં જ. મેં પાછી લોન માંગી. એમ કરતાં કરતાં મેં 3 વખત WZO માંથી લોન લીધી.
As he started understanding this business, he approached WZO Trust Funds in starting a business of his own.
It's the very first મેં WZO માંથી લોન લીધી પોલ્ટ્રી ના બ્રોઇલર બર્ડ્સને મોટા કરવા માટેની મેં લોન લીધી સૌથી પહેલી.
He takes much pride in the fact that today he has repaid all 3 loans taken from WZO Trust funds.
મારો કોઈ બી ડિફોલ્ટ બી નથી, એક પણ ડિફોલ્ટ નથી. કોઈ નેવર, કોઈ દિવસ પણ એવું બન્યું નથી કે મારા પૈસા મેં નથી ભર્યા.
He is a man who has earned the privilege of a better lifestyle in exchange for his hard work.
એટલે મેં લોન લીધી, પછી 3-વ્હીલર લીધી. 3-વ્હીલરમાંથી હું 4-વ્હીલર પર ગયો. ને 4-વ્હીલ લીધા પછી હું આઉટ ઓફ સ્ટેટ ગયો. તો નેચરલ જેમ રિક્ષા પરથી હું 4-વ્હીલ પર આવ્યો તેમ મારી લાઈફમાં બી થોડો ચેન્જ આવ્યો, કારણ કે હું પૈસા એટલા ભરી શકું તો એટલા પૈસા અર્ન બી કરું.
As most parents, he also wanted to provide the best opportunities for his children. And as he began to slowly stand on his own, he started reaping the joy of seeing his children succeed.
મારો નાનો છે એને તો પહેલા જ ટ્યુશનમાં પહેલે જ વર્ષે 50% અપ રિઝલ્ટ આપ્યું. ખરેખર બી મારી છોકરી છે ને ભણવાનું બહુ જ એ ગુસ્સો આવતો, પણ જ્યારે એને આવડતું થયું અને જ્યારે રેન્ક લેવતી થઈ ને ક્લાસમાં તો હમણાં તો લગભગ છેલ્લા 1 વર્ષથી મેથ્સમાં તો એ કમ્પ્લીટલી એના સિવાય કોઈને બીટ નથી કરી શકતું, એટલા માર્ક લે છે.
As we heard his daughter Sharmin speak about becoming a teacher and his son Rohan speak about going to Canada someday, we realized that children, regardless of where they are in the world, do dream, and that small contributions do make large deposits into so many futures. A father's dreams, a community's generosity, rewritten futures. 385 elderly indigent Zoroastrians were supported in 2011 alone through disbursement of payments on a quarterly basis. The total amount disbursed was 1,32,37,500 Indian rupees. Additionally, in the Gujarat villages, elderly couples living in abject poverty are also rehabilitated. Sam and Bacha Besania's small world had collapsed around them. Their 2 young sons, both in their mid to late 20s, passed away within a short time of one another. Here we are in the village of Bartad, about 25 kilometers in the interiors of Navsari. Sam and Bacha Besania were found here by WZO Trust Fund officials somewhere in 2009. To add to their woes, the ramshackle hut in which they were living also fell due to the various weather conditions and outside elements. Farooq Asad has been on site and involved with this family since the first day of their rehabilitation. We will now speak with him. The shattered parents were literally living within 4 wooden poles. The multiple tragedies caused Sam to neglect tending to his fields, resulting in total mental and financial collapse of the family.
ફરોક તમે સામને બચ્ચા ભેસાનિયાને મળેલા ત્યારે કેવી પરિસ્થિતિમાં મળેલા?
સામને એની જે વાઈફ બચ્ચામાં એ એટલી બધી પુઅર કન્ડિશનમાં જીવતા હતા કે એ જોઈને આપણે ઠથડી ઉઠીએ. એટલી બધી ખરાબ અવસ્થામાં એ લોકો રહેતા હતા કે દાંત અને અન્નને વેર એમ કહીએ એટલે કે 2 ટાઈમ એ લોકોને જમવાનું બી નહીં મળતું હતું.
He undertook a loan of 1 lakh rupees from a local farmer of another community, in return for which he had pledged part of his fields as collateral. WZO Trust funds learned of Sam and Bacha Besania's troubles in 2009.
2 વર્ષ પહેલે એ લોકો અહીંયા રહેતા હતા.
બહુ જ ખરાબ કન્ડિશનની અંદર ઘેર કોઈ પણ સમયે પડી જાય એવી હાલતમાં હતું અને તેથી એ ડેસ્પરેટ થઈ ગયેલો અને પેલા માણસની પાસેથી લાખ રૂપિયાની લોન લઈ બેઠો.
And by 2010, due to the generosity of donors such as the USA-based Rivetna family, the Besanias were moved into a brick and mortar home and their land retrieved. Today, the Besanias have a new lease on life although still coping with the loss of both their children, they do now see a glimmer of hope. As they enter into the elder years of their lives, they have accepted being one another's support, but are grateful today that they will be able to live the remainder of their years with dignity and self-respect. 2 lives lost, 2 lives saved, hope rebuilt. 311 individuals were supported to the tune of 1,56,09,152 Indian rupees towards meeting their medical expenses. Hillamai Patrawala is over 90 years old and resides alone in the village of Manpur, looked after by her distant relatives and next door neighbors Ruben and Sunnu when needed.
એ જ બધું કરે ને એ જ બધું કરે એ જ જોવે એ જ જમવાનું મોકલાવે બપોરે સવારે સાંજે.
Hillamai suffers from various ailments related to old age, but has remained steadfast in her resolve to pass her days in her modest hut, refusing all attempts to admit her into an old age home or infirmary.
તમને પેલા WZO ના હોમમાં નથી જવું રહેવા?
ના ના.
WZO Trust Funds has extended to her modest financial support, which enables her to look after her basic needs of food, clothing, and other essentials.
થેન્ક યુ હિલ્લામાઈ મારી સાથે વાત કરવા.
Compassion extended, independence respected, dignity upheld. During 2011, the rehabilitation of 17 Zoroastrian farmers in 15 villages was initiated. The inputs provided have been sinking tube wells, providing submersible pump sets, leveling fields, providing pipelines, seeds and fertilizers, establishing brick kiln, prawn farms, and much more. A total of 26,80,000 Indian rupees was dispersed during this year. Since its inception in 1991, the Farmer Rehabilitation Initiative has rehabilitated 436 families in 177 villages, expending 5,63,63,651 Indian rupees, or a little over $1.1 million in the process. Firoz Tampal, 70 years of age, resides with his wife and 2 sons in the village of Bartad. Together, they work in their fields, growing sugarcane and tending to their small dairy farm. We had an opportunity to speak with his son, Yazdi.
તમને પહેલે હેલ્પ ક્યારે મળેલી?
3 વર્ષ પહેલા મળેલી.
ને કેટલાની હેલ્પ મળેલી?
50,000 રૂપિયાની.
ને તે 50,000 થી તમે શું કીધેલું?
50,000 થી થોડી ખેતી શરૂઆત કીધી, તેમાં ફાયદો થયો. પછી તેમાંથી વિચાર કર્યો કે હવે નાના પાયે કીધું તો હવે સારું કરવું હોય તો જ્યાંક મોટે પાયે કરવું જોઈએ. અને પછી મોટી લોન લીધી. મોટી લોન લીધી પછી થોડોક વખત રહીને જોયું કે આપણે આ લોન આપી શકશું, પાછા રીપે કરી શકશું. એ હિસાબે હિંમત કીધીને પછી આ લેટેસ્ટ ઇક્વિપમેન્ટ આ ડ્રીપ ઇરિગેશનની સિસ્ટમ ફિટ કરાવી કે જેથી મને ફાયદો થાય એમ.
તો તમે ટોટલ કેટલા લોન લીધા છે?
મેં ટોટલી 3 લોન લીધેલી છે. એક 50,000ની હતી તે રીપે કરી દીધી. એક 2,40,000ની છે 14, અને બીજી છે કે 2,50,000 એપ્રોક્સિમેટલી છે. તેમાંથી ફર્સ્ટ લોનનો પહેલો હપ્તો જે મેં 75,000 હતા તે ભરી દીધા. આવતા વર્ષે મારે 2 લોનના હપ્તા ભરવાના, 2 લોન ભરી દઈશ.
Hard work and support from WZO Trust Funds have enabled the Tampal family to reap satisfactory harvests over the last few years and improve the quality of the lives they lead.
હવે તમારા ફ્યુચરના પ્લાન શું છે?
ફ્યુચરના પ્લાન તો હાલમાં તો બોલો બહુ પ્લાન છે, પણ તે જ્યાં લગીને WZOની લોન પૂરેપૂરીની ભરપાઈ કરું ત્યાર પછી મારે ગ્રીન હાઉસનો વિચાર છે. જ્યાં લગીને મારે WZOનું લોન પૂરી કરી દઉં પછી હું પાછી રિક્વેસ્ટ કરસ કે મને ગ્રીન હાઉસ બાંધવા માટે લોન આપવા એમ.
Their latest initiative of introducing drip irrigation systems in their fields from the support of WZO Trust is one more step taken towards bringing this family back into the mainstream of society.
We're in the fields of Yazdi Tampal's land. He has about 7 acres of land over here, which WZO helped him plant. They gave him a loan of 1.75 lakhs, which is approximately $4,000. Today, he earns between 13 to 15,000 $. That's approximately 6 to 8 lakhs per year from this land. However, it's important to remember that this income has to last him for 3 years. The land you see behind me reaps a harvest only for 2 consecutive years, after which the land must be left absolutely without seed so that it can replenish itself for the upcoming harvest for the following 2 years. So the income once again that he earns is approximately $14,000 that must last him for 3 years.
However, as all young people do, Yazdi has large dreams for his future and the prosperity of his family. Understanding needs, investing in futures, keeping dreams alive.
We just spoke to Yazdi Tampal, and as we could see, all it has taken to make a young man's dreams come true is $3,000 a year. I'm over here with Dinsha Tamboli, chairperson of WZO Trust Funds, and I'm turning to him to ask him what inspires him to continue to do this work year after year.
We have been doing this for the last 20 years now. There's still much more work to be done. The needs of the community are infinite, well as the availability of funds and of volunteers is finite. If the community gets together unitedly to help such of our brethren, we have no doubt that we will be able to eradicate poverty from their midst. Because after all, the tagline that I prefer to use in WZO Trust and WZO Trust Funds is manufacturing confidence, changing lives, creating a strong community. That's my vision for the community, the way I see it.
Though much has been accomplished over the last 2 decades, much more still remains to be done. Many Zoroastrians living in the interiors of Navsari and Surat still live in abject poverty. Parents seek to provide a more formidable future for their children. The youth desire to stand on their own, promising themselves the ability to make dreams a reality through their hard work. And the elderly seek to live their remaining days with dignity. As we journey forward, we recognize that there are approximately between 150 to 175 more villages filled with Zoroastrian families that need assistance. Join us on the journey to build the promise of a new day for each of them. Much work remains, generous hearts required, stronger futures await.